Hi, let's do the laundry, shall we? Some unpacking too, like me getting the room, the apartment in a state where I can comfortably start the week with. And today is this typical Monday where I feel like super slow, energy low. The weekend wasn't even there. And you ask yourself, where should I take this energy from for the upcoming week? Well, why is that? First of all, in case you're not familiar with it, because I think some countries do not have it, our time, like the clock, changes 2 times per year, right? Let's call it summer and winter time. So in summertime, the clock or the time is like 1 hour forward, and in winter time 1 hour backwards again. The not natural time is the winter time, I think, and I think it was invented in some countries to save electricity. Daylight saving times was it also called. So now I have no idea anymore, and this is also the main reason why I dislike it, because it doesn't make any sense to me anymore, and it just throws around my whole biorhythm. Like my body doesn't even know where's up and where's down. The nights are annoying. Can sleep really well. The bio clock, or that's like a name for it. My inner clock, my inner rhythm is just it's just out. And I'm a person who's very very sensitive in, like, the weather and things changing, and I can adapt to that, but still I know this is it maybe more than I would like to. And also, there was a pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons weekend this weekend, and so the time spent, I don't know, are these the ones whom are meant to be with you? Are you the one? Yes. The time spent on the pen and paper weekend is different from any other time spent. Because the time is just going by so freaking fast. You sit in a room with friends. First of all, if you don't know what pen and paper is, I've been talking about this on here whenever I do it. It is you and friends, not necessarily having to sit around the table. Also works like via a call or something, or video chat, but in our case, sitting around the table. One of said friends is the dungeon master who thought up a whole story campaign for us to play in, and then he talks us through it with rules to decide what we are allowed to do and what not. So combat rules, traveling the world, and then everything is possible. For example, he's describing you. We are currently playing a horror sci-fi one-shot, so only one weekend, like an extra thing from our normal campaign. And so we were like a group who had to investigate this moon that apparently somebody got lost on, and we wanted to check on them. Turns out the whole moon, like the mining station that is there, is infested. Everybody dead, and it's infested by Dead Space zombie-like creatures. And now our ship broke, and we have to get back out while making our way through the space station, dodging the horrors that awaits. And so we sit around the table for, 7 to 10 hours. Then you go home, sleep, back the next day. And basically, the weekend is then immediately gone. In a good way, right? There's not a lot of things, or maybe none at all, where I don't think about anything else for such a long time. You know, like not thinking about an issue, a problem, the work week, plans that are coming up, or whatever, for 7 to 8 hours straight. Tell me like in the comments, is this something you guys experience with other things? Maybe you do your hobby. You know, when I do music, that's also maybe the thing. But if I do music, I also think about, I'm not good enough, and I could do this better, and then I'm like negative thoughts. But with DnD, kind of, it's like a non-self-thought space. And so, but also if time goes by so fast, it's not really resting, right? It's not like a resting activity. Your brain is still working, trying to figure out the best way to navigate through the space and blah blah blah. And so I feel a little bit like, together with the time changing, I feel a little bit I feel slow. And so today, luckily, we have each other. I have you to motivate me to get the apartment. Just, I think the first step here is, if the apartment is in a more, you know, clean state or like organized state, then I always kind of get some energy from that and feel like, yeah, not as much to do, clean, you know, laundry's done, I have fresh laundry, and then it's just a great feeling. And now we are still in the marathon of weekends to get through, because I think the end of the year is always a little bit busier for me, because like Halloween and then Christmas, and the more and more involved I got with Halloween, the more and more important it was or is for me. Then my parents' birthdays are coming up as well, so this just something, a lot of family, a lot of events, there's also a family gathering, and like the months leading up to Christmas are just like full with, the weekends are full. And don't get me wrong, you know, if weekends are full, and it's probably things you want to do, but still finding the balance between, you know, going out on a weekend and just staying home and recharging, and also knowing what recharges you, which I don't know. It's like it's recharging for me a whole day of sleeping. I mean, I feel weak afterwards as well, because if I sleep too much, it's kind of like having the opposite effect. And it's like a weekend with friends recharging, but then you have like these social interactions all the time, which can also be tiring. So I haven't figured it out yet. And I think these videos always turn out to the same topic whenever I am in a very full weeks, because yeah, I always circle back to these thoughts, quote unquote. For me, I would categorize them as late 20 thoughts, which are different from my mid-20s. My mid-20s, I was way more confused and way more anxious about everything, and now I feel like at least I can find the answers either by myself or with friends or professional help. But you know, you have something to turn to and go to in order to find a solution. And yeah, I lost my train of thought here, but I guess this was the end of the train of thought, that I'm just not quite sure at the moment. And I also noticed it today, that the topics are not springing as easily to my mind. It's just a very slow one. We might as well could have done a silent coexisting video. Imagine I had one of these with the morning with the breakfast. I think people still texted that they liked it, but I'm not quite sure. I feel like I owe you, or I want to entertain you, and even if it's on this level, which is not really like meant like to be the highest form of entertainment. But you know, I imagine if you have to do this on the side as well, and you have somebody who does the same thing, I feel like it gets easier to motivate yourself to do it. That's the reason why I'm here. I mean, you certainly make it easier for me, because otherwise today would have been a strong contender for staying in bed the whole day. Oh, and one thing that I think also makes this week so heavy, so less appealing, and I think it's a good topic to talk about here, as something that I'm struggling with going forward, is I have a job tomorrow. If you don't know, I'm a studied sound engineer or sound designer, and I have a job tomorrow as a sound technician for a TV show, TV interview. And I've been to this TV interview thing in the past, and I felt like I was always a little bit like two things. One, in the first one, I was super lucky, and then I feel like I was very unlucky with just things going wrong that are not in my control. You know what I mean by that is like some cables showing me not being able to interrupt or not wanting to interrupt the interview. Because you know there's because there's two different things. Well, I love, oh nee, it's this type of Monday. If you don't know, everything fell down. If you're not familiar with it, which I wasn't before either, there's something called, there's live television, live on tape, and then just a production. So the same interview can either be live on television, which is, I think, rarely the case, because so many things can go wrong and you cannot stop it from being broadcast to the world. Then there's live on tape, where you assume that it's a live situation, so no interrupting, no reshooting of something, just filming the interview or the show as if it would have been live, but recording it and then being able to, if it's really necessary, to have an edit or to run in and be like, stop, we have to change some lighting or whatever. But this is rarely the case in the small productions I am at. They always feel that it's like rude if you interrupt. At least that's how I feel when I interrupt. So you just sit there when a mistake happens. It just pains me because I cannot do anything about it. And that's the reason why I'm just a little bit, I needed the money, so I said yes to the job again. I was standing up for myself because I was asked to work on 2 jobs, like two jobs of these. But the one was with another crew, and I'm like, I only want to work with the crew I know, and not with the crew I don't know, because then there's even more room for mistake. They are never doing mistakes. And also I think my mistakes are also not big ones, but it just annoys me when it happens. Okay, this is like understandable. I think it's maybe like perfectionism or something, that you really want to do a good job, and then if it feels like it's just haunted and never working, then it's kind of like it's discouraging. So now I would have wished that tomorrow I could have just live stream, play some games, entertain you guys. But now I have a little bit of a of a about tomorrow. Give me a second, I'm gonna take in the other stuff. Yeah, and you know, so I'm just happy when this week is over with, and I also you know, I'm also sure that tomorrow will be fine. But I think the main issue here to understand it, also the reason why I kind of stopped liking to work as a sound engineer or sound technician for TV shows or live shows or whatever, is that when everything goes well, everybody expects that everything goes well. And if it doesn't go well with the sound, it's only me to blame. You know, there's no team. They don't go to the director, don't go to the producer. It's kind of me to blame, you know. On big productions, there's maybe multiple sound guys. You know, somebody who's an assistant, somebody who's the main guy. And then, you know, less errors and less mistakes because more people, you know, just check everything, double checking and whatever. And also less a burden on one if something doesn't work. But it's like with small productions, it's like they expect the quality of a big production, you know, and I'm not talking about a specific one tomorrow, I'm just talking about in general. That's tomorrow, the one tomorrow I do because it's very fair and very nice, but with other productions, they tend to think that they are now the big deal, right? Oh, now we are on TV and we're in the studio and now we didn't pay anything for it, or we pay very little, but we expect very much of it. And so you can see how this can cause issues because everybody involved in the technical department has to work double, triple, okay, triple is maybe too much, but like 100, 120, 130% just to get it done normally. And that's just very stressful over time, right? No gratitude. Oh, a little bug. I mean, you cannot stay in here. I mean, you can, but I would like you to be in freedom. Freedom it is. And yeah, I don't know. I also thought a lot about, is it just me complaining, or, you know, like, yeah, this is the part of the job, or is it my fair, is it my right to be like, I just don't like to work in an environment like that, where there's no room for mistakes, and everybody expects more of you than you actually you're paid for. And sometimes I think the main issue for me is if I would work in a scenario, for example, maybe it's very cryptic here, but you know, I'm trying to bring it across. If I'm working in a studio or in a theater or in a TV studio where I know everything and I know I was involved in getting the equipment there, deciding which one to use, and I know it works, you know, then usually there's no error happening. And if an error is happening, I can confidently step in the production and be like, everybody hold, it's an error that is not on my part, we gotta reshoot the scene and go. But I have to work with equipment I don't particularly know well, which is maybe faulty or cheap in terms of, you know, because it's cheap productions. And then there's so much room for error that I cannot control, that I just don't feel good with my work being seen as bad just because I'm underpaid, under-equipped, and undervalued. Maybe I'm too much of an overthinker for a job like a sound technician, because all the other sound technicians I met don't think as much about it and they have a better life. Like, you know. So let me think, where do I put this one? So that's the reason, I mean, that's the reason why I'm now involved in different career paths. And here, in this environment, in this scenario, I can just decide by myself whatever I do in the self-employed area. Now, now laundry is basically done. Biggest game changer for me was also to have 2 laundry drying racks, because then it's just double the fun. And sometimes I'm not an everyday laundry guy. I like to do it in bulks, and then 2 drying racks is just superior. Now, I think I also wanted to, I don't know how long the video is at this moment. Maybe we use the camera up there, even though you can see the light a bit, and probably me not as well. It's the best one we have. Let's unpack the bag. Dungeons and Dragons dice tray. A lot of dice, basically only dice, and like some markers for your character, some maps. Obviously, you have to write. You have to, you know, write everything down. You don't have to, but you want to write everything down to, you know, have like knowledge of whatever, which character said at what time. Oh, I also had some electronics with me. Oops. Because we had to have some laptops, and I didn't know if we needed to share the power or have like power adapters. And then these all go into my, what is this one? Up. These all go into my Dungeons and Dragons, not the power connectors, of course. Dungeons and Dragons, what's it called? A cupboard? I have like an extra thing in here where I store everything. It's just like it's also it's nice to look at. I feel like. So I like to have it displayed openly. And I mean, we continue to play DnD on Friday again, so it's not really that much time until then, but I still want to have it back in where they belong, as well as these power thingies, because I do not need them with me at all the time. Also, a big video that might come up next week is like, I don't know the English word for it. I have a lot of bottles, plastic bottles and stuff in my kitchen, and they have to be brought to the supermarket. Because in German there's something called Pfand, where you get money, you pay more money for buying a bottle, but you also get part of that money back. So that's how they want to reduce waste and recycle everything. Now, a quick vacuum session is needed, and then I think the laundry circle will continue, because I will just do another final laundrying. So, no mercy for the dust. Get the vacuum out of here, and I will talk with you after we finish that, because I now kind of noticed that, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to record while you vacuum. It's just sound-wise. I don't have to, I mean, here I am. I just have to tell you that it doesn't make sense. See you in a second. Easy. It's always such a game changer when the rug in front of my bed is like clean, because then it just feels so much more, like when you start your day, it always feels so much more cozy to have, you know, just like a nicely cleaned rug beneath your feet. And that's just the best mood booster for the beginning of the day after my favorite cereals. And yeah, I know today maybe a little bit more of a, you know, we have to get through it type of Monday mentality. But I think there's nothing wrong with that. You know, not every Monday or not every day can or has to be the most insane fun day ever. Sometimes you just have to get the job done. I hope you get the job done. I also hope you have an amazing day, amazing week. And as always, we see each other next time.